Andria Jones, EDL 853, Module 10, Get This Kid Out of My Room. Basically, it takes place in a small rural district, about a third grade student who is beginning of the school year. They've been in school about 6 weeks. He has an IEP. He's been diagnosed with behavior disorder, and he is currently struggling in his classroom. The teacher's voicing concerns and basically just saying, get him out of my room when he acts up. The special education teacher is working on a plan of intervention to help make the student successful. The basic problem is the student's emotional and academic needs are not being met at this time. The classroom teacher wants him removed from the classroom as whenever he's acting up. However, he has the right to learn in the least restrictive environment. The classroom teacher appears to have given up on him as well. What do we know already? We basically know he has an IEP. He has been from his previous year and the previous teacher who had been there for about 25 years just had a consequence reward plan set up in place. However, from documentation, it shows that there's a change in behavior from the previous year. We know that his parents just previously divorced 3 months prior, and it's also known that the parents are very withdrawn and seem to not know what to do as well. The classroom teacher, I feel like, is struggling and needs directions on how to help him be successful. What do we need to know? What intervention system is in place within the school? If any, like, is there an RTI? Do they have something in place where they can meet as a team to collaborate to come up with ideas? What are his current specific IEP goals? And what specifically is the teacher doing or not doing when the behavior is escalating? So is she placing any interventions? Has she been documenting the things that she's tried? Is she following the plan that is currently in place? Or the other thing is, what triggers? Is it specifically math? Is it when something happens with a friend or anything else in the room? And have they reached out to any previous teachers or current other teachers, like a specialist, like a PE teacher or an art teacher? Are these types of behavior occurring throughout the day or just specifically in the classroom? The proposed plan or strategies. Number one, I think the biggest goal is creating a positive environment for a student that allows him to be in the room with his peers. He is emotionally distraught, and that's what I got out of the initial evaluation, or just the initial reading of the case study. This kiddo needs some help. So number one thing I would do is I would get together, if the school has it in place or the district has it in place, like an RTI or a team, whatever they're doing, that would include, and we invite the regular education teacher and the SPED teacher. You need to have an administrative presence, no matter if that's an assistant superintendent, the superintendent, or even the district's special education teacher. Any specialist that sees him also, and I would actually get the second grade teacher if they're still there, counselor, social worker. What you really need to do is get perspective and ideas from the team. Have there been any strategies in the past that have worked for him? Even though I know this is a new behavior, we can kind of backtrack and see what has worked and what has not. And then create a plan. One of the plans that I would definitely put in place is when he's having a meltdown or anything is give the student a break. Is there a calm down place throughout the day? If the teacher is seeing any triggers or any signs, who can she call? Can she call the special education teacher? Can she call the administrator? Is there someone else in the building that we can have that you can piggyback with another adult to help de-escalate the issue before it even starts? And so again, we need to know with that strategy, where will a child go, who is coming, and the other thing is, do we need additional supports? And I know that comes into, do we have an extra para? If you even have a para, is there an extra body, an adult body that you can get in there? And the other thing, just keep in the back of your mind, which I wouldn't do that right off the bat, but does he need another form of evaluation at that point? Second step would be the SPED teacher needs to work closely with the regular education teacher to promote a positive interaction. And again, collecting data to see what is working and what is not. If it's possible, get the SPED teacher in and maybe to push in or co-teach or throughout the day, even just to observe, to have a presence so that student knows that he's not in there by himself. And third step was definitely utilize any resources that we have, counselor or social worker, to start seeing the student on a regular basis, just to check in with him. I'm a strong believer that every student needs a person, an adult to connect with throughout their day, or just that have made that connection. And the other thing I think is just helping the student to be feel safe, possibly creating and fostering maybe a peer relationship. So maybe having the counselor or social worker have a lunch bunch, or some kind of social activity to kind of foster that positivity. And then the last thing is so important, is reach out to parents to offer support. You have to utilize any, and I know it's rural, but is it online? Is there anything in the community? Is there any district to help them, support them as well, and know that they are a team, and that they're supported, and they're not here in this process on themselves. And this is another place I would probably follow up with. In the case study, it mentioned, I'm just going to should I just give him some Ritalin or medication from his other sibling? And that would be a great opportunity to address, have you been to your pediatrician lately? Has he had a checkup? Has he had just a medical checkup? And maybe voice your concerns if you have any with your medical doctor as well. Resolving the issue. One of the things that it's difficult, because when you're implementing any intervention, it really takes about 4 to 6 weeks to effectively see if it's helping the student. This is where you would document the success or failure specific intervention. And I would look at that. Number one is using that calm down strategy and take a break. Is it helping with outburst? Just kind of checking in on that. And, again, you have to work closely daily to make sure it's having a good either working or it's not. A positive support, the classroom teacher, I think that's key. We have to have a push-in or a team approach, because the frustration the teacher's showing is almost as if she has given up and that she's not willing to do those. So I think that modeling of a positive interaction with this student, I think would be great for that teacher. And then checking in on progress, whether it's daily or weekly, and then can encourage the teacher to continue to reach out for assistance. I know she's a veteran teacher, and this is a new first-year SPED teacher, and I think that's always hard as well. Follow up with the counselor social worker. The student needs to know they have a safe environment, and that they have a safe place and some place they need to go when they're feeling overwhelmed. And again, resolving the problem, parents are key. You have to interact with the parents. Please continue to follow up. And I know they might not be open to that, but just being, allowing them to know that the door is open for communication if they need to reach out. A reflection of the problem in Standard 8. What was I thinking? Number one, are we doing what's best for the student? Do we need to try other interventions? Does he need more supports in place? Can we financially get another person in there for even a limited amount of time? Maybe a pair or another adult in some more time throughout the day. Does he have the correct goals set? Are we focusing on the correct things to help him be successful? And as a person, this just really made me sad. And the student struggling, but it made me sad as the educator, the reaction that they had. And that's just, hopefully that's not something that is passed down. It's like the climate of the building, but just maybe this one situation, I'm hoping. And hopefully the teacher can be counseled as well on a more positive way of handling the situation. Do other staff members have the same outlook? So speaking of that, is that something that needs to be addressed on a building level or a district level? So as an administrator, you need to trust that the staff, they're doing what they supposed to be doing. If not, they need help and they need redirection. Do they need to have specific training on special education? The administrator has to be active, an active participant in that. It can't just be read this, watch this. They need to have hands in, and be dedicated to that as well. And do they need just simple strategies for different areas, potentially like even inclusion? And looking at a rural district, I have never personally taught in a rural district, but what resources would be out there for the parents and to help them to be successful and to problem solve with them. Just an overall reflection of Standard 8 and applying it to this case study. I look at this, and collaboration is the biggest key. It's collaboration amongst the teachers, collaboration with the family, and also with a student. It is key that you are an active member on all these levels. I think that would be very challenging to not have an administrator, but just maybe kind of an assistant superintendent or a lead teacher, basically, at that point. And I just think that would be the key thing, that collaboration in that discussion and working as a team. Component 1, how do you as a school leader promote effective and efficient management of the school or district? Well, you have to have these in place, and it didn't really talk about it, but do you have a checks and balances system in place in the school? Do you have an RTI team? Do you have an MTSS system? What are you using to monitor and to keep these kids that are on the cusp and that need a little extra? What are you doing as a school to do that? And again, it comes down to, as an administrator, you have to be an active member of that. You can't just rely on your teachers, but giving your input when needed, letting teachers problem solve, and then kind of giving your 2 cents as well. Utilize resources available. There are lots of free things out there. It doesn't always have to be by financially strapping. Promote this within the staff. Show examples, hand out things that you have found, and this would be a great resource for you. Be approachable and accessible to all families. That is, as an administrator, you have to have an open door policy and know that they are valued, they are heard. And last, create, and I think this is a big thing, and I keep going back to the teacher, and that to me makes me the most sad part. I think the student hopefully will get into the right place and be able to find those interventions, but as an educator, you have to have that empathy, you have to have that compassion. It's important to create those opportunities, whether it's staff development, having cross-curricular collaboration, maybe it's like vertical or horizontal, depending, kind of bouncing ideas off of each other, and then creating opportunities for the staff to develop. What that could be simple as visiting another school in the district, or getting them a conference, something, giving them abilities to develop. How do you as a school leader promote social learning for every student? You have to build a relationship with all students. Every student needs a person, someone as an adult that they can rely on without the building, someone they make a connection with. You have to foster those relationships sometimes. Whether it is a lunch bunch, whether it is a gamed group, something like that. Building community within the school. For example, we have student counselor, we have web where everyone belongs, and it's a 8th grade and 6th grade collaboration. That's building and promoting that community. Modeling empathy and compassion, and creating a safe environment for all students. And then finally, promoting extracurricular activities. And I'm not talking just sports, clubs, activities, things that everyone can be involved in. That I think those are really sound ways of that social learning for students, and then they can learn to interact with their peers as well. And then finally, how do you as a school leader promote student academic learning? You have to promote school goals and values. You know that what is best for students. Students always come first. Your standards are high, but they still need to be attainable. Collaboration within the school. Again, there's that lateral or vertical collaboration where you can ping pong ideas and kind of guess and check, or help and check, implement with other people, implement ideas with other grade levels. Building adult and student relationships. Education is about relationships. Students need to know that they are loved, and they will ultimately do their best academically. And when they, especially also when they have a sense of belonging in that safe environment. And finally, that safe environment is for all students. When social well-being is addressed and students feel comfortable, that's when they're going to have the academic growth and academic learning.